Do 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 do. Bike blogger here, on my way to work. Don't rain on me. Topic of the day: summer bikes. Summer bike. Do you have a fancy bicycle? Let me know in the comment section below. Make and model, please. Make and model, please. So it's basically June. It's actually still May right now as I'm recording this. Get through the light. Wait for this guy. Going a different way to work. I think the last time I went this way was that video about get a bike camera. But now, topic of the day is summertime. It's basically summertime, even though it looks all wet outside. It's basically summertime. Ugh. It's been raining a lot, actually. Not really a great time to go outside with a fancy bicycle, unless you have fenders on it. But do you own more than one bike? Do you have like a summer bike, or a bike you get out when the weather's just right? Again, today's not really one of those days. Whew. Here's somebody cutting grass over to the right. Cutting wet grass is a big hassle. It clogs up your lawnmower. I actually have a lawnmower because I do have grass to cut, and it's really good, except it tends to clog unless the grass is completely dry. It's totally dried out. I think the problem could be I need to sharpen the blade on the lawnmower, and maybe okay, let's just get backing up here. Is he turning around? Oh, it's probably the only way to get out of there. It's to back into there. Yeah, there's a guy cutting the grass. Smelly. Summertime. Do you see the birthday cake I just passed? It was on the right. Rewind if you missed it. Let's go this way. So I'm gonna cut through the city a little bit, the central west end of St. Louis, Missouri, on our way to work. So I guess this bike I'm riding now is my summer bike, or I ride it in the winter though, so it's my bike though that's more expensive than my other bike. So what I really like about it is it's got the electronic shifting, which is ridiculously overpriced, I think, but it pretty much works. You know, you gotta charge it every once in a while, but that's only every few months at most, even when it's cold outside, from my experience. Although I guess it does depend on how much you shift, how much you ride the bike. But you don't need to worry about cables, you know, freezing on you or anything. So anyway, beautiful day today. Guy's got solar panels on his house to the left. I'd like to get solar panels for my house. Wait, what is the topic today? The topic today is summer bikes. Summer bikes, yeah. Yeah. Like road bikes, yeah. Gravel bikes. Fancy bikes. Da-da-da-dee, da-da-da-doo. We're rolling along at a brisk 20 miles an hour through a residential area. We're gonna hop out to the park here in a second. And we are actually on our way to work. I'm actually going the opposite direction from my workplace, but I will be at my workplace by the end of the video. That's my intention, at least. So yeah, I think if you go back and watch my very first video, it's kind of funny. The first scene, I got a camera on my two bikes, and you know, one is my, you know, rainy day bike, and one is my nice, you know, no fenders, just kind of a really nice looking fancy, I don't know, the other bike was kind of fancy too, but in the Sing I was like, I think it was like bad day, nice day, bad day, like a bad day or bad weather bike, and a nice weather bike, so bad day, nice day. And then I think I settled on the nice day, which was my single speed bike that I love a lot, the Wabi Lightning SE. At that intersection down there, I actually got hit by a car riding that bike. That was 1 year ago. Killed the bike, but I got a new frame. Here we go. I'm gonna get this one day. Here we go. Oh, it's really wet and muddy. Someday I'm gonna be able to do that without taking my foot off the pedal. Just don't want to, you know, run into the handle or the handrail there. Hurt my chest. Done that before. I've fallen off my bike and hit my chest on the bars. That's no fun. That was mountain biking, off-roading. Nobody around. So, I'm about done heading north here. I'm gonna start heading east by making a right. Thought I was on a harder gear. There we go. Okay. Fortunately, the puddles aren't really that big. There aren't that many of them. So, I got a little teeny tiny saddle fender on the back of my bike here. But I don't have a front fender. Front fender's good for keeping your feet dry. Yeah, I have a little teeny tiny fender on the back, and I've found that it does a okay job keeping my back dry when it's not raining and I'm going through water or something. Fenders are only as good as how fast you're going, though. If you're going 20, even with rain fenders, if you're going 20 miles an hour, you're still gonna get wet. At least somewhat, but maybe not nearly as much. Anyway, I found that if I stood up while cycling, my back gets wet. I gotta actually stay down in the saddle where the fender is, because if I get up, the water just kind of sprays up and around, I guess, the fender, and then it hits my back or something. I don't know exactly how it happens. If I could follow myself in third person, I'd be able to figure it out, I guess. I guess the camera view on my videos is kind of a first person perspective, right? Or first person bike perspective, first bike perspective. So anyway, this is my fanciest, my summer bike, if you want to call it that. It's a road bike, carbon fiber, electronic shifting. It's an off-brand. That is, it's a no-name brand. So because it doesn't have the fancy branding, it's, you know, $1,000 or $2,000 less than the equivalent Trek or Specialized or whatever other brand. It's an internet brand bike. It's an internet bike basically, but it works fantastic. I bought it off of a website called Wiggle, and I'm not sure if I'd buy an expensive bike like this online ever again though, because I had a lot of problems with Wiggle. When it got here, it was kind of damaged in shipping. Guys are honking at each other. They want to beat the bike. Beat the bike. Beat the bike. Okay. Alright, back on the trail. It's a Eastway emitter R1. I'll have a link to it at the end of my video. You can go to my website, BikeBlogger.com. I list all my bikes there. It's a really nice bike. I've actually grown to like it quite a bit. If you haven't noticed, pretty much, I think every video this last month that I've posted has featured this bike. It took me a while to get the fit just right, because of course, being an internet bike, you can't test ride it. But fortunately, I have fairly average proportions, body proportions, and I have another bike I know I like, and I was able to use like some online calculators and stuff to figure out how to dial my fit in just right. I obviously got different handlebars in this bike than my single speed, which has bull horns. I'm really liking the road bars though, even though I don't use the drops down here very much. I just really like these bars because on the hoods, when I put my fingers and my hands up higher, I don't know, I guess maybe it's these specific Shimano brake shift levers. They just really feel good in my hands. It's really, I can get a really good grip, I guess. I know brake shift levers from the past generations, like, you know, 10 years ago, they were more bulky and they didn't feel as nice in the hands. These feel really nice though. These are more modern brake shift levers from, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago. They've been able to shrink the size of them down. They feel real nice. And let that guy go. Awkward situations. Awkward situation. Yeah. Motorists around where I live, at least, are used to seeing cyclists just just kind of speed through intersections. I agree with the fact that you want to get in and out of the intersection as fast as possible, but motorists get used to it, and then when I slow down or completely stop at an intersection, the motorist is always like, not always, but more often than not, hesitant to go. And sometimes they'll wave me on, which is really nice, but being extra nice is just kind of I do appreciate it. I don't want to slam it, but sometimes people can be almost too nice, and it just kind of gets a little annoying. But I'd rather them be nice and not get hit than get hit and them try to, you know, be a butt about it. Alright, we're gonna go up this way. Per the usual, I'm running behind schedule, so I always take the opportunity to go a little faster than I would otherwise, because I have incentive to. Woo. It feels actually pretty nice right now. It doesn't feel like winter. It's about 75 Fahrenheit. However, it is really humid. Really humid. We've had some pretty strong winds and downpours. Kind of like Florida weather, where it just comes down hard, or even really California weather in the desert. It just rains real hard, but only for like a minute and then it stops. Kind of weird. It's not normal around here. That's the changing climate for you. Whew. But hey, I'll take it. Certainly will enjoy cooler weather, although I'd rather the icebergs not melt. Glaciers. What's the difference between a glacier and an iceberg? These are the questions you ask yourself when you're riding a bicycle. Building a building to the left. I don't know if you can see the crane. That building is going to be a bunch of condos. Should be a really nice view of the park if you have an upper level condo. Police. I don't know what they call it in other countries, but when I say condo, I mean condominium. That is basically a apartment or flat, so that's what I was talking about. I think we'll go straight. Past the Whole Foods. Why I don't usually go this way. Do 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 do. There we go. What do you do when you're behind a police car and you're stuck like that? You could filter to the front. Police ain't gonna catch you, but probably shouldn't do that. Alright, so this might be Newstead, I don't know. Or is it Taylor? I don't know. I don't live around here. This is Taylor. Newstead's the next one, I think. Ow. I guess I could make a right and then make a left. Maybe let's do that. I hate waiting around. Alright. See, I think I can make a left up here. On Laclede. Okay. That's fenced off. I have to go around this way on the sidewalk. Alrighty. Fortunately, there's no way to drop down here. Oh, there we go. Little tiny ramp. This should pop out at Newstead. Are we recording? Always gotta check to make sure I'm recording. Woo. Beautiful day. Beautiful day in the neighborhood. So I'm gonna make a right on the Newstead, and then we're gonna continue on. What's this guy? This guy stopped here. What's he doing with the flashers? Filter. We're gonna go straight. We'll be crossing Forest Park Parkway. If you don't know where I am now, I'm if you go to Google Maps and type in Forest Park Parkway and Newstead, that's where I'm at now. I'm near zip code 63117. I don't know the zip code of where I am right now, though. I'm in the city, not the county. Woo. Traveling at a brisk 19 miles an hour. What I'm actually going to do here is follow this back to the park. And we'll have to cross some train tracks. The Metrolink light rail system. Hopefully we won't get stopped by it. Hope I didn't just jinx myself. Cross the railroad tracks. It'd probably hurt pretty bad if you hit one of those, what do you call them, that come down at the railroad crossings. One of those bars coming down. If you hit one of those with your chest while riding a bike, you'd be thrown off the bike easy. Kind of scary. So this is Clayton Avenue. We're gonna make a right here, and actually we can cross right under Kings Highway, and we'll be right back in the park. Ah, dang! It looks like it's gonna rain, doesn't it? Alright, here we go. I would totally take you around more of the city, because we're barely in the city. We're kind of in a research district. I guess I'd call it that, because you got the medical school campus around here, and then you got some kind of some techie businesses around here. This is called the Cortex District. Actually, I think the Cortex District is actually behind me, but you know, we're near there. They've added a new train station there. for the light rail Metrolink, the Cortex. Whew. But the medical campus is to my right, associated with the local university around here. I've thought about moving into the city proper, but I don't work in the city. I work in the suburbs. I don't know, maybe someday I'll move into the actual city. Although I think it's more likely, can I even get through here? Doesn't look like I can. I don't know. I'm gonna turn around. I'll have to cut across King's Highway, I guess. I probably could have wandered through that construction site. I was kind of worried that it was going to be closed off. There's those scooters. Lime scooters. Alright, how do I do this? I guess I try to make a left here. I think I can go straight across King's Highway here and get into the park, so I'll just have to do that. Oh yeah, what I was saying was, I don't know, I mean, I think there's a greater likelihood I'd move away from my hometown, which is St. Louis, than I would to actually move into the city of St. Louis. Whew. I don't know. Things to think about. Where would you like to see me move to if I was gonna move? I've thought about it. Probably a nicer climate. That'd be pretty high on my list. I'd probably move to the west, the southwest, or maybe the southeast. I don't see myself moving to Boston or New York City or anything like that. Or Minneapolis, where it's really cold in the winter. Maybe Canada. There we go. Street plate. Back in the park. I'm gonna get on the trail here. That little thing I ran over was actually where a bollard usually goes. Wasn't there though. I've actually seen those trail bollards. A bollard's like a pole that sticks up out of the ground to prevent automobiles from driving on this trail. I've actually seen those poles. There's 3 of them right there, pulled out of the ground before, and they're actually not very heavy. They're not made out of they're not made out of steel. They're made out of plastic. See, look, let me show you. Well, I don't know, maybe it is kind of, looks a little rusted. It feels like some sort of a really lightweight steel though, if it is. Maybe it's just, it's probably not solid steel, it's probably some sort of foam encased in steel or something. I don't know. Oh boy. Running a little late now, gotta get going. There isn't really a direct way back to work. At least when I'm on the trail, I don't have stoplights and stop signs and a lot of stuff slowing me down, traffic. Whew. Look at that, there's some orange bikes. Huh. I say Cannondale. I don't think those are rentals. Geez, all the wind from the storm the other night, it blew all that gravel into the trail. Yikes. Woo. Of course, I picked a great time to ride my bike because it might rain soon. Oh no! Oh no! There's a chance of rain, pretty good chance right now. But there also was a good chance this afternoon as well. Did you see all those lights that were sitting in the grass back there in the field? I wonder how they changed the light bulbs on those big baseball field lights. Because if you have a big vaulted ceiling at your apartment, house, condo, flat, apartment, you can use like a long pole with a light bulb attached to it, screw it in that way without even getting a ladder. But those heavy bulbs and those tall poles in the field back there for the baseball field, my guess is they have to get some sort of a cherry picker or some sort of a truck with like a little I don't know, like a little movable platform on it or something. I don't know how the heck you get up there otherwise. Those baseball field poles have to be close to 40 feet tall, probably. Maybe 3 stories tall, I don't know. 30, 35 feet. I mean, heck, just like those big poles over there in the next to the freeway. How the heck did they change the lights in those things? I guess they do it at night with plenty of reflective gear, as you should ride with at night on your bike. See, I'm kind of looping it all in here. So they can put bright lights back in there like you should have on your bike. Anyway, topic of the day. Topic of the day is summer bikes. Summer bikes. Woo. I would say I'm a little over 10 minutes away from work now. Let's see how accurate I am. We'll see if this video goes for another 10 minutes at least, which I do expect it to. Woo. But yeah, so I think I already told you about my bike. I've always been kind of, I don't know, worried about messing up my nice bike, which makes sense if for your income, the ratio of your income to how much you spent on your bicycle should probably be the formula you use to decide whether you care if you mess up your bike too much or not. I mean, rain is not going to kill your bike. You know, what's going to kill your bike is if you never give it a bath. You know, take care of your bike and you should be home free. Whew. So yeah, we all tend to spend a little too much money, but I guess it also depends on how much you ride the bike. You know, if you're gonna use the excuse, oh, I'm gonna mess up my bike, so I'm not gonna ride it today, or tomorrow, or the next day. Well, that's no fun at all. What do people in places, rainy places like Portland or Seattle do? Portland, Oregon, Seattle, Washington, USA. They just don't buy nice bikes? Oh yeah, I get it. They buy titanium bikes, right? Really expensive bikes. You don't need a titanium bike. I guess it's nice if you know your exact measurements. And you know you're gonna love the bike. You get a titanium frame, and it might last you forever. You know, it might, you know, depending on how much you ride. I mean, it could cost, you know, 4 bicycles for one titanium bike in terms of use and cost. The heck? All these streets do not enter. I think I can go up the alleyway here though. Make a left. And here comes a truck. Perfect. I'm sure he's thinking the same thing about me. Yeah, he had the same idea. He was cutting through. Okay. I guess that's the one thing I've never owned, is a titanium bike. I don't know. I think it's a love it or hate it thing. Titanium you don't need to paint, but I don't like the looks of titanium personally. I'm not a huge fan of the kind of silvery color of titanium. But why would you paint titanium? That kind of defeats the purpose, right? I mean, I think some people get titanium because they like the look of it. And they can show it off. Like, oh yeah, that's a titanium bike, you know, so. Oh, bike blogger ranting because he can't afford a titanium bike. No, I'd rather spend my money on a nice, fancy, exotic steel bike or something. Oh yeah, I guess I should bring that up. You know, I was talking about summer bikes and fancy bikes and race bikes and road bikes. But kind of in the same vein, I mean, do you have a really nice vintage bicycle that you only bring out in the summertime? I don't know if you can do this on YouTube, but if you can, post a link to a photo of your bike. Let me see it, whether it's vintage or not. Up the hill. Alright, downshift. I want to say I've never been up this hill, but I think this is Louisville, and I think I've been down this hill a lot. I haven't actually climbed up this hill. It's like riding on a race circuit, but going backwards. It looks all different. Woo. Ugh. Mailman. Woo. All right. Old car. That's a. That was a Ford Falcon that I passed on the right just a second ago. Woo. I guess that's vintage. I mean, what is vintage for a bicycle? I guess vintage depends on your age. Whew. I guess if it's older than you are, it's vintage, right? Or maybe if it's the same age as, you know, if you're like, I don't know, if you're 20 years old, it would be like a 10 or 15-year-old bike. If you're 30 years old, it'd be a 20, 30-year-old bike. If you're 40 years old, it'd be, you know, you get it. It'd be like a 35-year-old bike or something. I don't work in antiques, but I think for something to be antique, I think it basically has to be from an era in which no human being is alive anymore. So an antique would have to be at least over 100 years old. And guess what? I bet there are antique bicycles now. Because I imagine when the bicycle first came out, the human beings who were around then are no longer around. Alright. Oh. Starting from a stop. Oh, come on. Oh. Don't blame me. Don't blame me. Ugh. Anyway, almost to work now. Doesn't matter if you make the last light, you always get stopped at the next light. If I slow down enough, I can just roll through it. Whew. Now the balancing skills come into effect. I gotta do something about this road. It is really messed up. It's weird. It's got like divots in it too that don't make any sense. Just broken up in random places over time. Not sure exactly how potholes happen, but I know a lot of it has to do with the freezing and thawing effect, which is why you might find pretty nice roads in Southern California or Florida, maybe, because it doesn't freeze there very much. Alright, everybody. Thanks for coming along with me on this bike ride to work today. Don't hit me, don't hit me. And we'll see you next time. There's the haunted school bus.